Hey, what's up, Pro Street Youth? We are super stoked tonight. It's Youth on YouTube. It's gonna be such a great night. We got Maria and Nicolette tonight here with us. It's gonna be a great time. But before we get into it tonight, I want to remind you that Glow Night is happening September 30th, 2020. You don't want to miss it. Doors open at 6:30. It's gonna be a great time. Also, we are having small group pop-ups, so if you're in a middle school or high school, be sure to get with your small group leader and see where they're meeting this week. Outside of that, let's get into the conversation.
What's up, Pearl Street Youth? We are so excited to be with you guys tonight. My name is Maria Longoria. I'm Pastor Noe's wife. Today we have Miss Nicolette with us. She is one of our middle school leads. And today we are just going to continue the conversation on mind, body, and soul. We want to bring awareness to you on those topics. We want kind of just break up what does mind, body, and soul mean, right? And so you might have also heard it as well-being, right? Like, how are you doing? Are you good? Are you well? And so mind, body, and soul also can lead to well-being, which is also mental health, right? So mental health, all that means is how you feel, think, and act, right? So it's the same, mind, body, and soul. Mind is how you're mentally feeling. Body is how you act physically. What are you doing? And the soul are your thoughts, right? And so we want to just break that up. And so all that is your choices, balance of life, health, eating, etc. It's how you cope with different situations. And so how we can kind of identify our awareness on our mind, body, and soul, or our mental health is by creating this detector, right? So we'll say this is a smiley face over here. And then the detector is maybe an angry face or an upset face or a sad face, right? And so your meter to evaluate your quality of life is going to just kind of go up in there, right? And so one of the things people always say is like, oh, that person's in a mood, right? Or, oh no, that person, and then label, right? Is bipolar, is a psycho, or whatever, right? And it's just a mood that you're in. And so when we go back to talk about how you feel, think, and act, that's kind of just your detector of your mood, right? And so when your mood dips into a longer phase of things, that's called a mental illness, right? And all that is a brain function disorder. That can happen through many different things, right? But it could be genetic, it can be environmental, but those are sustaining moods for a long period of time. That is a mental illness, right? It's a brain function that's not in alignment. And so we're going to talk a little bit more about that. And so I want to invite Miss Nicolette to share a little bit about mood, right? So mood is a temporary state of mind. So whenever our awareness of mind, body, and soul gets shifted, you get in a mood. Nicolette, have you ever been in a mood?
I'm in a mood almost all the time when I'm hungry because I am hangry. But I have to realize that because I haven't eaten that day or because I haven't eaten in a while, I can't go and yell at my sisters or, you know, hurt them with my words because I'm angry, right? Another time was just like through breakups. Like breakups are hard. Those make you sad, right? But eventually you start to get yourself back. You start to feel more, happy, or you get to hang out with friends. Those moods can definitely last a little bit longer than, being hangry and then eating and then you're fine. That doesn't mean that you're going to be sad all the time, but in that moment, in that situation, in in the breakup, you lost something that made you happy, and now you're in the mood of being sad or hurt, but that doesn't mean that it's going to last forever, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's good. And so going back, right? Don't label yourself because you're in a mood, right? Moods are so common. I think Nicolette hit it, right? Breakups, especially in your age group, right? You catch a mood for everything, or you catch feels for everything, right? And so that may be a variety of things, right? But if it's not sustaining for a long period of time, 2 weeks or plus, then it's a mood, right? If it is sustaining for a long period of time, then there are possibly some mental illness capacities happening, right? And so we always want to be on the lookout of that. But I think our youth generation is always in a mood, right? People are really excited. Some people are really sad. Some people are just flat. Earlier, Nicolette was talking about some new moods that are now trying to be popular. You want to share a little bit about what you're talking about?
Yeah, so sometimes you get like, I don't know if you've seen on social media like sad girl vibes or sad boy vibes, and it's kind of going back into like, oh, I want to be in my feels. So when I'm sad about something, I'm going to turn on sad music, and it's going to prolong my mood of being sad because I just want to keep feeling this sadness. And again, I mean, it can stop. You can put on, some happy music. If you're feeling sad, hang out with some friends or talk to your family members, put on some happy music, put on a cool TV show that you like. But because this is trending so much of this, sad person vibes, it's a prolonged feeling, and then you start feeling like, well, why am I always sad? Or why have I been feeling this way for so long? Well, when you add to it, then it starts to prolong longer.
Yeah, so good. And so we go back to the definition, right, of your emotional, physical, and those how we feel and how we think and how we act, then those will define those moments for a really long time, right? And you may come from a very happy environment, but you just want to be sad, right? Or you've heard of the term emo, right? I'm just
Mhm.
emo. And it's like, okay, but once your body starts to believe and act and feel on those things, then it can dip into a mental illness. And so those are things that we want to look and be careful with, right? um, there's a statistic, right, that 1 in 5 um, youth and young adults will have a mental health condition between the ages of 13 and 18. And so the statistics, yes, are important, but what's important is our young people's well-being, right? And so naturally at this age, there should be a quality of life that you're making good, comfortable, healthy, and happy decisions, right? But there are a lot of things around us like peer pressure and a certain look that we should look like, or I should act like, or I want to be like this person, or I don't have these things. So, of course, those are going to alter our moods um, because we want what we don't have, right? But that doesn't mean you label yourself. Those are just appropriate moods. Another appropriate mood is, losing somebody, right? Somebody dying, right? There's a grieving process to that. A pet dying, right? There's a grieving process to that. And so those are appropriate times to cry and be sad and be alone and ask for time to be alone. But it's when it's kind of like a secret grieving or a secret hiding of some place that you are putting these you're storing these emotions away so people don't see you, right? And so some emotional suffering can be poor self-care, right? You're like, man, she hasn't taken a bath or done her hair and she's always doing her hair. Or, man, he's always ironed and looks sharp and he's wrinkled and he's not dressed okay, right? um, Signs of agitation, right? They're just upset and irritable and, oh, just go over there, I don't want to be with nobody. And it's like, oh, okay, somebody's in a mood, right? And so um, it's good to just identify those things, right? There may even be withdrawal, like, man, Nicolette used to hang out with us all the time. Where's she been at? What's she doing? Don't just stay there. Let's react to those things, right? And so some other things that we can do to help when someone is in emotional suffering is to reach out, to connect, and to offer help, right? So during quarantine and a lot of moods were happening with a lot of people, right? And so Nicolette reached out to me during a time that she was not comfortable, was having these hard times connecting with God and finding a place to worship because she couldn't get there, right? And so I want Nicolette to share a little bit about that and just kind of how we walk that out, right?
Mm. So my norm for me is to be around people, like with jobs, with church, with groups. We're always around people, and so during the quarantine, when that was taken away from me, I felt like, well, what it made me question, like, well, what am I supposed to be doing? All these things are happening so sudden. It wasn't part of my normal activity, and so I started realizing, like, well, I'm not being active anymore. I'm not in community anymore. And so it started to get, a little bit scary. I was like, man, like I feel I feel lost. I feel like I don't know what to do. And so in that, I was pushing away even more. I wanted to, kind of isolate myself to try and figure out what was going on. But in reality, I realized I needed people. That's who I was. That was my norm. That if I continued to go the opposite way, which I was doing, it was getting scarier, and it was, I was getting more sad, and I was having more of these emotions, and my mood was getting worse. And so I reached out to Maria, and I asked her, like, I don't know what to do. I need help. I don't know where I'm at. I don't know what I stand for right now. Everything has been flipped upside down. And that can look like a lot of things in different seasons, like Maria was saying, the loss of a pet. You're so used to being around that pet that if something were to happen, well, now you're like, well, what now? That's my best friend. Or even, in friendships, if you're not talking to a certain friend anymore, it kind of shakes you up and makes you feel like, what now? Who am I? What do I stand for? What does all this mean for me? And so in that season, Maria took the time to continuously talk to me throughout the week, once a week, twice a week, however many times I needed it throughout the week, to be able to say, I'm here for you. I love you. I want to walk this life with you. And in that, I was able to see how my mood was no longer isolated and scared and sad and angry with what was going on, but it was more peaceful and loved, and I felt comforted in that moment. And so now, you know, even in this conversation, at that moment in time, I felt like I couldn't have conversations with a lot of people because I felt like I don't want anyone to know what's going on. I don't want anyone to know that I'm sad because I'm happy, Nicolette. I'm always, joyful, Nicolette. But reaching out and asking for help was the best thing that I could have done for myself, because now I'm back to happy Nicolette and peaceful Nicolette, and I feel comforted and I feel loved, and in that I can turn it around and love other people in whatever situation they're going through and make them feel comforted, because I felt that, and I was able to understand that just because I'm feeling a certain way doesn't mean that I have to stay there, and that other people are there to help me and they love me. And more so, Jesus loves me because he sent me these people that are going to love on me the way that he would. And so one of like the scriptures that helped me was Psalms 91:1. The person who rests in the shadow of the Most High God will be kept safe by the Mighty One. And so I rested in him. I rested in his people. I was able to reach out to those who love him because they know his love, and they were able to give that back to me. And that was me being able to finally rest and feel, back at home. You have that feeling of like, this is home, this is safe, this is comfort. And now I can feel that again. And it's just so beautiful to have that.
Amen. And that just brings us so much joy, right? And so I think one of the things in Nicolette's, like, having these feelings and recognizing them and recognizing that she needed to reach out to somebody, it's important, right? And so when those things happen, we need to take that as, and this person needs me. I need to give my full attention. I need to be supportive. If I'm going to tell her I'm going to be there, I'm going to be there. And so Nicolette having all these emotions and feelings was just me listening to her, just me being available to her and taking that time to connect with her. And the help that I offered was my availability, right? Hey, yeah, let's talk, let's meet, let's have coffee, right? And so as a friend, and you recognizing some things in somebody, that's what you want to do. You want to connect with them, right? Hey, are you good? Is everything okay? Do you need something? I'm noticing this, right? Just conversations, so that that other person who is struggling is able to communicate, and I'm not okay. Thank you for checking on me. Thank you for talking and taking the time, right? And so I think once we go back to mind, body, and soul and connecting with the way we act, we feel, and we think, that's what the Bible ultimately tells us, right? Is to guard our heart, guard ourselves, make sure that we're following the fruits of the Spirit, which are joy, peace, love, kindness, right? And so whenever we are in alignment with those things, we're in alignment with the awareness of ourselves, of our well-being, and how we manage and push out that character of joy to other people, right? And so it's okay to be in the mood, just don't label yourself, right? It's okay to be in your feelings, just don't label yourself. If you feel that those are lingering for a long period of time and you're crying more than normal, or you're sleeping more than normal, or there's some things that you can feel a pattern of, this is not normally how I am, reach out to somebody, connect with somebody, and let us help walk that out with you. We love you guys. We're so grateful for this new conversation of mind, body, and soul. There's so much more that's going to come out of this, and we just look forward to hearing from you guys and staying in connection with you in small groups. We're going to continue this conversation. We love you guys. Y'all have a great night.